Welcome to Sliders and Wings, a podcast about the TV show Sliders
and the TV show Wings
and all the other forgotten TV shows of the 90s.
This is Valerie Temple.
And I'm Rachel Cox.
Hey, Rachel.
Hi, Val. How are you?
Good.
Do we have any housekeeping from our last episode about Blossom?
I do, actually.
Okay.
And it's just, I wanted to mention all of the Full House catchphrases I forgot.
Okay.
Because there were way more than I even said. And the biggest one that I forgot was, "You got it, dude."
It doesn't really sound that memorable to me.
You got it. None of them are. One of the ones that I remembered, well, I was like, I found a list. It was like top 10 Full House catchphrases. I was like, that's too many catchphrases for a show. Like, was there other dialogue besides catchphrases? Was it like was writing for that show like filling in a Mad Lib? Do you remember DJ's catchphrase? Her one catchphrase, "Oh my Lanta."
Oh, yes. Okay. That one is more memorable.
Yeah, it's memorable because it's so bad.
And I think Joey's catchphrase, "cut it out," that was his. He did like a game show on Nickelodeon or something. And I know that he used to do "cut it out" on Nickelodeon before or maybe at the same time.
So maybe it was part of his contract. Like, I got to bring in this catchphrase, like that's what people know me for.
It's a catchphrase partnership. Yes. I watched another Blossom today in my free time. And I've watched two so far. They're about Nick bringing home a new girlfriend and Blossom just being totally verklempt about it and being all nervous and upset about it. And this one was very, very hyper-focused on Joey's obsession with Hooters.
Like actual Hooters or the business?
Oh, no, breasts and mangas and all his different jokes for them. But every time he says something like that, another character is like, "Joey, you can't treat women like that." It's all very... You're not with him, you're against him.
At least he's getting reprimanded. Yeah, the show isn't supporting his behavior, which is...
No, exactly.
No, they're teaching
on the right side of history.
Yes. Thank God for Blossom.
Thank God. Okay, so this week is... I mean, at this point, I think maybe half the episodes have been very special to me, but this one's very special because the show is very special, and we have a special guest, special guest, and her name is Sequoia. Hi, Sequoia.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Valerie. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Sequoia.
Sequoia has come on to talk about Roar.
So when Rachel told me about this podcast, she got, I think, 4 words out before I screamed at her, "Are you going to do Roar?" I was just like, "Oh my God, you've got to talk about Roar." And then she's like, "What do you remember about Roar?" And I was like, very little, but it was still like, it was so impactful on me because it was a summer filler show.
Yes.
I was like 14, so like prime horny, like teenager, but not yet a teen, like the tween. And like you have a young Heath Ledger
with his shoulders out,
his like sexy shoulders. It's cheap fantasy. Like, it would just like, I could watch it with my parents and swoon about it. And so
I was thinking the alternate title of the show could be Conor's tank top. It's a tank top.
He's fully wearing a tank top.
It's not only a tank top, it is an aggressively 90s.
It's blue.
I've been to the gym. It's blue. The armpits.
Cut out just so we can see as much pit as possible.
But they clearly took a t-shirt and cut the sleeves off and cut the neck off. Like no one even attempted to make it look like a rustic.
No. I mean, at one point, costume. I think he's wearing like a leather V-neck sleeveless tee or whatever.
So a weird thing about me is I was raised by theater people. My dad was a high school drama teacher, and my mom had her master's in theater. And I had these distinct memories of watching the show and my parents going, "Oh, this is so accurate." And then I went back to watch it and I was like, that is not accurate. Just a blue tank top, baggy pleather pants.
So they were talking about the costumes. They weren't talking about the plot.
They were talking about everything.
They were like,
"We're in." Watch it, and I was like, "Oh, you guys were high all the time."
I love that they were like, "Yeah, Roar is authenticity."
It's so authentic.
I mean, you can't get better than Roar.
Okay, so this only aired. Okay, let me just say that the show aired on Fox from July 14th until September 1st, 1997. It ran like 8 episodes. It was
8 episodes aired.
Then it sounds like the final 5, the total 13 episodes were eventually run on Sci-Fi.
In 2000, which obviously they were like, well, 10 Things I Hate About You came out in 1999. So I'm sure they were like, you know what? Let's just air the whole thing. Heath Ledger is hot and famous now. Like, we've got this in the can. Let's show it.
I was definitely watching every single episode the summer of 97. Very, very upset when it was canceled.
So upset. I didn't see these like final episodes. I remember being like, it's canceled. What's going to happen with Conor?
I think I did because I was an avid sci-fi watcher. I'm guessing I saw them all eventually. So I have a personal connection to Heath Ledger that I have to discuss.
Oh, of course.
Does it involve Australia?
Of course.
Okay,
so
I thought so.
A big part of my teen identity was wrapped up in being half Australian and having Australian citizenship because I didn't have that much else to distinguish me from my peers. So this is a big deal.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I guess. I mean,
better than me.
Yeah, I mean, I am better than you for sure.
Yes, exactly.
This was the first I'd ever seen of Heath Ledger. Of course, piqued my attention. He must have been in a magazine or something, but I read up. I mean, now I'm like thinking about how would I read up on him if the internet, it was early days of the internet. So I must have read an article that explained he was Australian, right? And at some point I realized that he was not only Australian, but from the city that my mother's from and that my family lives in, which is Perth, which is not a common place for people to be from because it's, not like Sydney. It's a less populated city. So I got kind of fixated on him. I mean, number one, he was just very cute. And number two, he was from Perth. And at one point when I was a kid, we were supposed to move to Australia and it never manifested. So in my kind of subconscious, like if I had moved there, I would have met him or something. I don't know.
That's the fantasy, right?
But then a few years later, I actually found out that my cousin in Australia went to the same boys' prep school with Heath. He was, a few years older than Heath, and he dated Heath's sister.
Whoa.
So I had this other connection. I had this actual connection.
If you moved there, you could have gone to the same parties.
Mm-hmm. If we had moved there, yes, presumably I would have seen him at a party. So for many, many years, I had these recurring dreams that Heath and I were old buddies, and I would like run into him in New York or something. I mean, these are pathetic dreams. They're pathetic. But in my dreams,
or prophetic.
I know, right?
Well, definitely not prophetic.
No, sadly,
we will meet again.
Oh God.
But it was like every time I wake up from one of those dreams, I would think, God, I'm such a loser.
Yeah,
like a dream where I used to be a bit extra on Roar or some show he was on, and then I would run into him and we'd like chat about our days together on the show or something.
He's like, oh, Rachel.
I don't know. That's as high as I aspired in my dreams. But I also think that when the show aired, I don't think even at the time I thought he was a good actor. I don't think he's good.
Oh.
I mean, he's not good, right?
This show had lived on in my heart and my little teenage mind until you guys were like, all right, watch it again. And I was like, I remember thinking like, oh, he's such a good actor. And like watching the accent go all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Carrie Russell.
To be fair, no one on the show is Irish.
Right.
They're
accent corner for sure.
We got a big accent corner.
The whole episode is accent corner.
Woof. But like also I know Carrie Russell is now a better actress, but like she does like some straight up like, oh no, I've been stabbed, like acting in this, and like it's rough. The acting
she's incredible on The Americans.
Yes,
just to be a boost.
We know she's listening. We don't want to hurt her feelings.
I'm coming to Carrie's defense, but no,
I mean she got there.
Yeah,
this must have been like pre-Felicity, right?
I mean, it had to have been.
She doesn't stand out as being bad to me. She's just kind of there. And then her death scene is bad, I think, because they couldn't afford to actually look like she was injured, so they just showed her face reacting to being sliced in half and falling down.
Right. Yeah, it's very like off camera, it's very theatrical where it's just the reaction, you just see her face. Yeah, where she's like and then falls over. I mean, she didn't stand out as bad to me either. But I think I was just hypnotized by how beautiful her hair was.
Oh my God, her hair.
I was like, she looks like a mermaid.
I feel she must have like walked into that audition and like everyone like dropped their papers and just started like whispering and being like, she's got it, baby. Like
I know
she does not wear her hair that way anymore.
I know, that makes me sad. I love that hair.
I
But
love it so much. It's
go
just so long too, so incredibly long, and just
and
like,
like beautiful texture,
oh
like it
god,
looks amazing. But then she's wearing like a Delia's sundress that's like tie-dyed maybe or floral, and you're like, this is what supposed to be 5th century Ireland?
5th
Is
century
that
Ireland. Yes,
It is
yeah,
set in exactly the year 400. Very specific.
yes.
all right?
I also had Delia's catalog written down in my notes, but that was in reference to the evil queen's arm cuff.
Yes, yes.
She's got this metal arm cuff that is hella Delia's. It is. I feel like I purchased such a thing from that catalog.
But this show is important in the history of TV because it launched an actual amazing actress, Vera
Sebastian?
Farmiga.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sebastian Roché, is that what you were going to say?
I like him.
I like him. I was actually following him on Instagram the other day because I was curious about what he was up to. You know, Sebastian Roché and Vera Farmiga got married.
Whoa,
after being
what?
on the show.
No.
They were married for a few
Wow.
years and then they got divorced and then they each married other people.
Wow.
That's so great.
Yeah, that is great.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
roar, like they heard the roar, the
There
Irish
is
roar.
the other thing that I think
I also didn't remember where the dumb name came from, and then when they tried to explain it, I was like,
It was very sweaty, like how they were trying to work that in. They're like, because it doesn't really figure into the plot. He just
I'm assuming they drop it after the pilot. I
They-
don't recall.
pull them aside and like they look out onto the ocean and they explain that what
the
is
roar
it?
is the land, and do you hear the roar? Except no, that's the ocean. Like
But
those are waves.
It's basically like only the chosen one can hear the roar, and that person is the person like basically the leader of Ireland, or the only one.
They don't call it Ireland. Like
No.
they just call it like the land,
The land,
the
yeah.
island. Like it's
Right. But like that person is the only one who can join all of the clans together. Is that it? Like he's got the power.
He's
The
got
power
the
of roar. Yeah.
I am not gonna lie, guys. I watched this pilot on YouTube, and I was like, I think I might go back and finish up the series. I think I
It's a
actually
low commitment.
I actually
into it. I
so-
had fun. Again, it didn't live up to my like teen memories, but I was like, looked better than the pilot of Merlin to me. So like,
yeah, I did not watch Roar at all. I have no connection to this show. Yeah, just no history with it at all. It is one of those things that where I think I heard the description of it and it was just like decidedly not my thing, you know, like, oh, 5th century Ireland chieftains, clans. I was like, I don't like, even with a cute boy involved, I don't think I was.
and it was
going
a
to go for
summer filler show. It's where they
You missed
like,
it.
Fox or whoever bought it decided it wasn't worth the risk of putting it during prime season. Is that what it's called?
like,
I forget
prime-
TV anymore.
Yeah, whatever it is, like the main season.
Yeah, so then
whatever.
it was just like they dumped it in the summer. And like I said, I had these like nerd parents who love genre shows, and summer was actually our like peak TV time because it's where they dumped all the weird stuff that the network execs were like,
maybe not.
Like didn't VR5 get started as a summer filler? Like, yeah.
But then they would also start shows for teens in the summer. Like 90210 started in the summer. I think so did Melrose Place. I think it was since kids weren't doing anything, they thought maybe that would be a way to get kids to start watching a show.
I think also like Buffy started in either the spring or the summer because it also only had a half order. So
well, that Sebastian, what is his name? Sebastian
Roché.
Yeah, he attributes Roar's demise to being up against Buffy.
Yeah, it was the. My parents wouldn't let me watch Buffy for some reason, but they're like, "Hell yeah, sit down on the couch, let's watch some Roar together."
Right.
Can I read this,
Yes.
this one paragraph of the description of the show?
Yes. Go for it, Rachel.
Okay. Roar chronicles the life of Conor, Heath Ledger, a 20-year-old orphaned prince who must rise above tragedy to lead his people to freedom. Conor takes on a band of ragtag allies that include Tully, a teenage apprentice magician, Catelyn, played by Vera Farmiga, a beautiful former slave, and Fergus, Conor's big-hearted ebullient protector. Their primary struggle is against Longinus, Sebastian Roché, a supernatural creature whose true essence is that of a 400-year-old Roman centurion ready to do the bidding of evil Queen Diana, played by Zane. He's an emissary of the Romans. In this fight for freedom, what is most important for Conor and his people is the roar of the land, the roar of the people, a voice that echoes through every living creature and is the power of life. So basically, this is a Braveheart knockoff.
Oh no, that was what I was thinking the whole time I was watching it.
Like no blue paint.
No,
but I mean, there was lots of roaring in Braveheart as well.
I mean, there was a scene at the end where Heath Ledger has decided to basically take on the mantle of the roar, and he's
going to do it.
And he's going to lead them to battle or join together or something. And it is almost, it's a designer's imposter's version of you can take our land, but you'll never take our freedom.
What I liked about it, and I remember my parents talking about liking it at the time, and I remember liking is, so it's trying to be a knockoff of Braveheart, but also it has this supernatural element. And I was raised Catholic, my mother's Catholic, so she Catholics get down with some supernatural bullshit. They love it. So it's the spear that pierced Christ is a mythical, she was all about it.
Well, that's what I liked about it too, because I think that this is when I was a teenager and I was raised kind of this kind of Christian, but not really. So we would just kind of half-heartedly go to church sometimes. But as I became a teenager, I became believing God is so stupid, and kind of, started to question everything and question authority.
Authority.
I started identifying as agnostic because I didn't want to go all the way with it. And
what a chicken.
I know, too hardcore, not hardcore enough.
Yeah.
But I do remember having thoughts like knowing the story of Jesus and knowing what the church is today and having no idea what happened in between. And what I found super interesting about this show was the Vera Farmiga's character, who was one of the earliest Christians. And there's a speech she gives, and she's such a good actress. There's a speech she gives about why she loves Jesus. And I still think of it to this day. And I think about it all the time. And that it's actually a very good reason for being a Christian. She just says how, the old world view was just, everyone's out for themselves. But then this man came along and he said, everyone is beautiful and everyone is wonderful and everyone has value, something like that. But she was kind of saying this is the first time and she's a slave, right? And this is the first time that she's ever heard that she was good and she was worthy or, something. And that's how a lot of people feel. And
it's a nice explanation.
I was trying to find the speech, but I guess I'd have to actually find what episode it was in. But it was a really good speech.
And that's very much my mother's West Coast Catholicism. So she was probably just maybe my child won't end up a heathen. We can watch this heathen show and we'll end up with a good Catholic girl.
Right. Yeah. She's got a little something for both of us. There's a hottie for her, but then also maybe sneaking in a message that might.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of found I remember being very attracted to, of course, Heath Ledger. But I was watching this and I was like, ooh, evil Queen Diana. And then I was
gosh,
Fergus is so funny. And now now that I'm older, I'm I see why I liked you. I love a good drunk warrior character.
Fergus looks a lot like your husband.
That's probably why.
I thought he was. I liked him too. He was.
Does Fergus have a top knot?
I mean, I think Fergus is bald.
Oh, right, but I could just put a top knot on him and it wouldn't look out of place.
It would absolutely not look out of place. The actor who plays him, I was like, who even is this actor? Because he just
I've never seen anything else.
He has a great charm.
Yeah.
He's very charming in the role. And I think Heath Ledger, I know you don't think he's a great actor, Rachel, but
he's so cute though.
He has something, Carrie has something, I don't know, they casted well, I think. As
I can't tell when he's I mean, I've only seen this one episode recently, but some of it might have just been struggling with the accent. It sounds like he's got marbles in his mouth sometimes, he's trying to do it. He's the only one trying to do it.
Yeah. Most of them are just giving
they don't
it
bother.
a pass. Yeah. They're not even trying.
No.
At least he's trying. So you gotta give him
trying.
Yeah.
I feel like scene to scene, he would like go up to a director and be like, so I'm sorry, is this Irish? Are we doing like, or just our voices? Are we doing, and the director was like, who cares, kid? Like,
yeah, it didn't really seem like they had made a strong decision one way or the other. Because I was like, oh, okay, is everyone just going to have an English accent? And then he shows up. And I was like, okay, all of the Irish people, the clan, they're going to have Irish accents. But then they didn't all have Irish accents. So then I was confused.
What got me more than the accents, because I'm so used to like just this like pan mashup of any sort of Anglo descent, was how bright and sunny and frankly hot.
They look sweaty.
They look sweaty in so many scenes, and everyone's wearing like tank tops and spaghetti stuff,
belly shirts. Vera Farmiga is wearing this long-sleeved belly shirt with these like low-slung like maroon pants. She looked like she could just walk into the mall today, you know. And
she's just like Encino Man's girlfriend.
Yes,
exactly.
Even Heath Ledger's hair is like, oh, you've got short hair. We don't really want to do a wig. We'll clip in some like
dreads,
extensions, and some dreads.
He's got a rat tail,
and he's got like a hair wrap, which I also had probably at that time. So I was like, ooh,
yeah, he definitely looks like he hangs out on the beach, like he's like a surfer guy.
Every scene where Heath Ledger was with his girlfriend before she was accidentally murdered, Carrie Russell, every scene made me so cringy because he would not stop touching the sides of her face. No one has ever touched the sides of my face as much as this person has touched the sides of her face. I would have adult acne if he was my boyfriend. Never
I don't know.
Stopped holding her head.
I thought it was hot. I was like imagining myself there.
You do like it. There is something like very like teen horny that comes out of this. And like there's like you're like, ooh, this sneaky, like, I don't know.
This was the opposite. I felt like repelled by how feminine he was.
No,
you want a nice non-threatening boy when you're 13, 14.
Right. I definitely wanted him then, but I'm not doing it for you.
I didn't watch the show, so like this is my first exposure to it at all, and I was like, this is working. This would have worked for me. Like, why? What was I thinking not watching the show?
Did you ever see A Knight's Tale when it came out?
Yeah, A Knight's Tale was also reminding me of this. So,
well, it's A Knight's Tale is at least intentionally anachronistic.
Yeah,
God, I hope so.
They're having a fun time.
Well, I don't know. Like, so this guy who made the show, he came from Xena and Hercules, which I had also watched as a kid. And Xena, like, made fun of it, was a little meta about, like, how sloppy they were with history. So I was like, oh, maybe this has a bit of humor.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't though.
So this guy, okay, so the guy who created this show, by the way, his bio is so wild to me. First of all, he created Roar like based on the popularity of Hercules and Xena. So he was just like, oh, those are working in syndication. Let me try and do something similar. So the guy who created the show, his name's Shaun Paul Cassidy. He's David Cassidy's half brother. But listen to this bio. Shaun Paul Cassidy is an American singer, actor, writer, and producer. He has created and or produced a number of television series, including American Gothic, Roar, Cold Case, Cover Me, The Agency, Invasion, and Emerald City.
I'm sorry. I just screamed so loud and I was muted. American Gothic is also one of my favorite garbage shows.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so, but it keeps getting weirder. Okay, so Cassidy currently serves as executive producer and writer for NBC's medical drama New Amsterdam. While in high school, Cassidy signed a contract with Warner Brothers Records, leading to his albums Shaun Cassidy, Born Late, Under Wraps, Room Service, and Wasp. So he's like a singer, a recording star, and that has like several albums. And which you would know him. And almost concurrently, Cassidy starred in the ABC television series The Hardy Boy Mysteries, as well as Breaking Away, and a stint on the daytime soap General Hospital.
Shirley Jones is his mom.
Yes, exactly.
Shirley Jones was already David Cassidy's stepmother when they were on the Partridge Family together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I knew that he was a teen idol like his brother, so.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard the name Shaun Cassidy before, and I'm aware of his music, I guess, but I had no idea that he has such a like prolific and varied and strange career. I mean, it's just like, just imagine being successful at every single thing you try. Like, oh, I'm a singer. Oh, I'm also an actor. Oh, I'm also a writer.
I think that's just called like being a white boy in Hollywood with family that already made it.
Connections.
But,
yeah, you're right.
but
you're right.
I'm like almost not listening to you guys because I'm really thinking hard about whether I think Heath Ledger was a good actor or not.
I don't think you can use roar as...
I know, I'm looking at his IMDb. I was never attracted to his acting talent.
I mean, 10 Things I Hate About You was...
He has great charisma in that. However, that's also one of those, I transferred from Australia and that's why I still have my Australian accent.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, he was just so
I'm looking at how many movies I haven't seen. Like, I've never actually seen all of The Brothers Grimm, and I haven't seen all of Casanova. And Monsters Ball.
Yeah, he's in Monsters, but he's good in that. He's good in that.
Rachel and I just sighed about just the existence of the film Monsters.
I know
Ball.
I
saw that in theaters.
It has not stood the test of time.
I do think he was good in The Dark Knight, but I don't like. He was better than this, obviously.
What about Brokeback Mountain?
Yeah, Brokeback Mountain was great.
I hate Brokeback Mountain.
I hate.
I can't look at it on its merits because the aging of the characters is so distracting to me. Anne Hathaway is supposed to be 45, and they just like plop a graying wig on her, and no, I just thought it was long and slow and boring. I don't really think anyone would argue that Brokeback Mountain is quick and exciting, but
no. So.
I have not seen that since I saw it in theaters.
So. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, me neither. Melissa George, the other Australian actress, Melissa George, comes onto the series later as Fergus's long lost daughter.
Right.
Yes.
The music is very Enya. It's over the top.
Oh my God, Lorena McKenna, I swear to God, is in the first episode. I swear, like during one of the...
Who's that?
I assume she's Irish or something. She does these very like sort of like 90s Enya Celtic, Moroccan sort of just pan sort of Euro ethnic music. Right now, my daughter has started asking me can you put on music that does this? And then she does these like floaty sort of hands music. Put on.
You got a baby hippie on your hands.
And I put on Lorena McKenna for her. And because then she can just, do some sort of like,
she can
toddler interpretive dance.
So she's witchy.
Yeah, very witchy.
She can like flow. She can feel her music flowing.
Literally, one of her songs or album is called like Mask and Mirror, and it's about like it's just like get all these like music going. And I swear her music is in the pilot. And I was like, oh, so you won't spend money on pants that aren't made of pleather. You won't spend money to buy, 5 more extras. Of like a giant.
They did get nominated for an Emmy for music composition.
Oh, it's McKinnett.
McKinnett. Sorry, I'm like
Lorena McKinnett.
Lorena.
I liked the music. I mean, I was enjoying what the show was serving to me.
So Val, knowing that there's only like 8 episodes that aired, or 13 total, Rachel? Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Or are you going to maybe go into it?
Maybe. I mean, it seems so easy to just finish it. You only have to do 12 more episodes.
Rachel, I wanted to tell you, I started doing a little research about this, and I am #blessed that this show didn't come out when the internet was 10 years older, and I was same age, because I would
you have had a GeoCities
I would have been writing fan fiction about this. I would have been
a live journaling
on the message boards. I actually you'll love this, Rachel. I went to Archive of Our Own to be has anyone written any Roar fanfic? And mostly it's bullshit crossover stuff, but This may be my niche. I may like,
You've finally found your inspiration.
You're just like, here we go.
No one's written for it. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to watch it all. I'm going to be the only person writing fanfic for this. And then I'll do like an alternative universe fanfic of it, sell that erotic adult fiction, and become, the next E.L. James. So
I think there are a lot of women our age out there holding lady boners for Heath Ledger. So I think you got an audience.
Yeah.
I do. So as soon as I was 3 seconds into the show and it just hit me. Oh my God, I forgot Carrie Russell's on this, or she's in the first episode. Right. But we should tell all the listeners that what happens in the first episode is that it's the setup for the whole plot of the plot is that in the first episode, there's infighting between these like gangs. You don't really know who's who or whatever, clans. But Carrie Russell's dad is not a Klansman, is he?
Yes,
he is.
He's supposed to be.
Why did this Roman woman marry him, though?
He married her because he was a high-standing Klansman. The Romans actually had less standing in the land. This is in the mythos. God, I don't know why I know this.
Well, you need to know this for your new career.
She was an invader. And this is I don't know, maybe it was her dad, like maybe it was something else, but like it established lines of like.
So there's this woman Diana who marries Gar or Gwar or something, and Carrie Russell is his daughter. Carrie Russell is dating Conor, and Conor's dad is another king.
But the Roman woman isn't her mother.
No, I know.
Yeah,
Queen Diana is not her mother.
No.
So
but then they're all fighting each other and they're mad at each other, and then Gwar's people go and they basically kill everyone in Conor's clan while they're all celebrating Conor's brother's wedding. So that is how he is orphaned, and he is left as the only person left to represent his clan.
And Conor survives that attack because he is canoodling in a hayloft with Carrie Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a star-crossed lovers, and
it's very
worse.
Romeo and Juliet.
But then the next day or something,
doomed pair.
Then her dad tries to kill him, and she jumps in front of his sword, machete or whatever, and he's dead. So then he's really left alone with no one but Fergus. But then it turns out that all these escaped slaves and various refugees from all these different wars are living in a cave.
And a magical
guy, Galen. And then Galen basically tells Conor that you've got to lead these people. And he tells about the roar of the land, and then Conor can hear it. And then in the end, he decides he's going to lead everybody. So it's Braveheart. Yeah.
Yep, it's Braveheart. Braveheart mixed with
magic.
Braveheart.
But then there's the most interesting character is played by Sebastian Roché, and it's Longinus, and he was the Roman centurion who
he put Christ out of his misery. So like if you think about Christ on the cross, he has the
is that
stigmata
in the Bible, though?
and one of
does that happen in the Bible?
I think there's he has the wound here, which
the
is
wound in his side, or
from his side is from the centurion's.
So he's a good guy.
No.
Oh, but he's cursed because he did that, which was
because
But isn't that a good thing?
I don't know. Well, maybe the God Yahweh of Jesus did not curse him. I don't know which God
so he was
cursed
cursed.
him. There's these Irish gods too.
But he's searching for the sword or something.
Yeah.
That's what Galen is saying. He has a confrontation with him and he says, I know what you're looking for. And I remember that the reason why Longinus is even there is because he needs the sword. He's trying to die and he can't.
He wants to die.
Yeah,
because he's immortal. And he's not only mortal, he's like a demon, sort of. He's got like hands.
Is he also like getting busy with Queen Diana? Like, is that part of it?
I don't know. I mean, she seems obsessed with him, but you can't really tell if it's in a sexual way or not.
Who was
she was in the mud tub with someone else.
Yeah, okay. That was a different guy.
That was just some boy toy.
That was super saucy, by the way, because she's like in this mud tub naked. This is how we're introduced to Lisa Zane, evil Queen Diana. She's just covered in mud in this bath. And her husband comes in and like is talking to her. They bantering back and forth. Then the husband leaves and this guy pops up out of the mud he had, I guess, dove under the mud to, not be discovered. And the mud dripping off this guy's face is actually a little bit like upsetting to me. Like it really looked like he had been in trouble. And then she's like, I think you missed a spot, and like shoved his head back down under. And I was like, whoa, what are they referring to? What was he doing down there? Wasn't this on Fox like in the 90s? Like
it was the summertime.
I know,
things were different then. You can have a little
steamy,
muddalingus.
a little, yeah. I
don't think what she said made any sense. It was just
I think that was the only thing that I could think of, and it was too dirty for. It was too dirty. I was like, that can't be what they meant.
I think Rachel's right. I think sometimes like writers would just be like, I want to like make this lewd joke, and like the network or something would come back and be like, you can't do that. You can't say that. And it's like, oh, let's imply this. And then we got to put a cap on it. And then it
doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, you're like, okay, moving on, And I think maybe at that time though, like those writers were a little bit safer to just throw stuff in, because they're like, people will never see this. I mean, like,
and if they see it, they'll just see it once, and then they'll have no recording of it.
That's right.
Yes,
like if they're not
exist and disappear,
if they're not watching it in real time, they won't hear it.
So the show was basically Conor and his ragtag bag of good guys, and they travel around trying to unite all the clans.
Okay.
I remember there was some humor. It wasn't like super jokey, but like it was one of those where they kind of couldn't find the tone that they wanted, and you could see that they were definitely trying to do things. And good old I don't want to say tokenism, but like it's like, here is our girl, and here's our person of color, and here is our old person.
I mean, it was kind of a diverse cast.
It was a diverse cast,
which I was actually surprised about, because they're in Ireland in 500 AD or whatever.
The Romans.
Wow.
Although apparently the Romans weren't even there. Like I was looking at something and they're like, no, Romans were never there.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
At this time, the Celtic people were more likely to be going to Ireland to enslave people and bring them back. And I know that everything's complicated. There's nuance. Vera Farmiga's, I'm saying her name wrong, I'm sure.
Vera Farmiga?
It was Farmiga, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I remember like her girl boss character. And I was surprised how she just
Baby bangs
to have aged.
She's
at all.
Stunning. She's stunning. Her eyes, her face, you're just, whoa.
I was looking at this and I was like, she looks like this now?
Yeah.
like very upset. Maybe she's the one who killed Jesus and didn't want to hide.
She's trying to find a sword so she can die. Like every once in a while she looks at her hand and it's like changing, like it's all wrinkly.
Every time I've ever seen her in anything, I'm just like, I feel so alone. I'm like, Catelyn, it's me, Rachel. I'm here. Can you hear me? We were doing Roar together, you and me.
You're like, well, I was an extra. I was in 4 episodes. Remember me? I was one of the slave girls with you.
I was one of the 20 people that watched your show.
Right. I mean, that is like
a very intimate experience.
It's a small club. I mean,
so Rachel, I said that I would watch this like on the couch with my parents. Did you watch this with your family, or did you was it just you alone, like grabbing some time?
I am pretty sure I watched it with my sister. So I would have been entering my senior year of high school, and she would have been like entering her freshman. Yeah. So she was 3 years younger. So this would have been something we would have been like, my parents would at 8 o'clock, they'd say, we're going to bed. Good night. They'd go to bed. And then we would like hang out downstairs and make nachos and watch whatever dumb shit we were watching.
Oh, that's nice. 8 o'clock is very early.
That's real early.
Well, start the process at 8 o'clock.
It just takes it. They have to ramp up to.
Okay. So do we have anything from Mad Magazine?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's the title Roar is so easy for Mad Magazine.
It's too rhymey. It's like I kept trying to come up with something better.
Then snore or bore.
I was thinking bore.
Yeah.
But then I thought porridge. Or like, I was trying to think of something clever.
I
like,
mean, if it's, don't mess with perfection. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's just so perfect that you just have to go with it.
What if it's rawr? Oh, I had poor. Or more.
Oh,
no more.
They would not have gone with more. Yeah.
No. That's the opposite of what they would be trying to say. Like, no, they wouldn't want any more. No more roar.
Yeah, but I suppose I'm just wondering what their joke would have been. So if it had been bore or snore, it would have just been Conor going on and on about how he's going to unite the clans, and everyone else just getting really bored and saying, "Well, sign whatever you want, just go away and stop talking."
I mean, yeah, you don't even have to get that like smart about it. Truly, like a lot of the Mad Magazine parodies were just like each panel is about how boring the show is or how dumb it is.
It would just be caricatures of the characters, and then at one point they'd all be asleep in a pile, and the Heath Ledger character would be shrugging and be like, I guess they really heard the bore. Or
I mean, it opens up with Heath Ledger already asleep, and like the snore is emanating out of his mouth or whatever, and there you go. You've got it. You've got a Mad Magazine parody. We've written it.
So we did Accent Corner. We did Mad Magazine. I guess there's the most 90s, and maybe the Delias is.
I thought they did an okay job. I thought the hair was pretty impressive. At least for. I guess that they didn't try to make Heath Ledger's hair look better was, I guess, a choice that I respected. Because I think also a reason I didn't watch the show was that I felt like that hair really worked against how cute he was. Like it blinded me because it was just, it looked like it smelled like patchouli,
I think it weirdly, like watching this, I was like, this is so like generic in the costuming, except for his amazing ridiculous blue tank top. That could have happened up until with like shitty genre shows like this up until like 2014. Like it was really so I think the most 90s was Kerry Russell's just all of her look, her amazing beautiful hair and her beautiful spaghetti strap dresses, her little linen wraps. I felt like under all of her costumes, she could be wearing a like full platform sandal. And it would just like, you just run with it and just be like, yeah, sure. Cause everyone else's costuming was like a generic, like weird, low budget fantasy. But I felt she was just like, no, I'm just going to like wear what I would literally wear at a 1997 red carpet premiere.
Or like a prom, like a 1995 prom.
She's dressed very much like Julia Stiles in the prom scene from 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes, exactly. It's very, very much so. And
Periwinkle was like a very 90s color.
Yeah, she's wearing a lot of like soft pastels, and just like the cut of everything is just so, it's like a baby doll-esque.
Yeah, but no,
like an empire. Yeah.
A very like Calvin Klein clean, like 90s minimalist.
In 1990, I don't know, 3 or 4, whatever was my freshman year homecoming, I wore a strappy, floor-length black strappy dress. So like just, I don't know, what would you call it? Yeah, spaghetti strap dress. But I was so insecure about my body that I wore a long sleeve white shirt underneath it. Like I couldn't even wear, because I couldn't have worn a bra, right? And I was like flat chested, and I was embarrassed about being flat chested, which is stupid because if anything was a time to be flat chested, it would have been 1994.
I mean, truly, yeah, like Kate Moss, the whole like.
I mean, I was smaller than her, but yeah. To me, the most 90s thing is just the Celtic thing. I mean, remember the Irish jigger dancers?
Oh yeah, river
Irish
dance.
cloggers.
River dance. Yeah.
Yeah, there was like
the Clonagh rings.
It was Enya. Enya was big in the 90s.
But just in the 90s in general, fairies and astrology and tarot cards and
no, there was this like very like white, like, oh, I'm Irish, like
Yeah, there was definitely like an Irish repping during that period. People were very interested in, being from Ireland.
it's the cool white heritage.
That's right, I guess. I just wanted to point out that weird disappearing effect that the magician Galen, like the episode ends with him disappearing, and it's terrible.
It's so bad. He just like kind of
he's in a window, Rachel. It's like
backwards.
the episode is ending, and he's in a window, and he's just like zoop. It's awful. And then and I was so confused by it too. I was like, what is this supposed to mean? Why did he disappear?
Legitimately, I was like, did he die? Did he ghost die, or is he leaving, or is he being mysterious?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll tell you after I watch the rest of the whole season.
Yeah, please do. You need to. Yeah, you do the work for us and just give us some recaps. So, I mean,
what if we had a new segment that was just Sequoia calling in and telling us what happened in Roar?
I would love it.
I put this on because I thought it would be okay, like for my kids to watch, and it was like so low quality. I thought they wouldn't pay attention, and they were riveted. So.
It's got a lot of great scenery. There's a lot of green and
I think it's
outdoors,
just that like that plaintive Irish pipe for like setting everything, just like every scene like just draws kids in.
Any lingering thoughts on Roar?
Just TM. No one like there are literally only 6 works on Archive of Our Own, and 2 of them appear to be vids at the moment. So like I'm just locking this down.
Yeah, you can be the
TM.
You are copy.
What does TM stand for? Oh,
trademark. I'm just like, okay. Yeah, I'm just like,
she's putting her like planting her flag. Like, did you guys ever watch Far and Away?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's talk about Irish in the 90s.
The land grab.
Yes.
Yeah, there's they're planting the Tom Cruise like land grab flag right in that material that this property.
Guys, legitimate. So if I were to write some Roar fan fiction, what should my author name be?
Oh. I mean, it'd have to be something Irish. So, like Colleen. What is an Irish tree that?
Oh,
yeah, right.
What is an Irish tree?
Instead of Sequoia, it could be Clouda, or what is Clouda? Like, isn't that the
ring?
That's the ring.
That's the hand.
That doesn't work. Yeah, Rowan. Rowan. That's
all
great.
right.
Rowan, also main character from The Witching Hour.
Okay.
And the whole Lasher series.
All right.
I think Rowan's a beautiful name.
All right.
By the way,
Rowan.
So is Sequoia, but
Rowan Ledger.
Rowan
Kelly.
No, Ledger is kind of perfect. Rowan Cassidy. It's going to be Rowan Ledger. So, look for that on your Archive of Our Own.
Will do.
Send it to us.
Yeah. I'm ready for it.
I mean, when every single episode of a show is just on YouTube, that whatever production company owns it does not care
They
anymore.
don't care. Well, that's what I've been discovering about our podcast is that if a show is even slightly remembered, it can be harder to track down streaming wise because someone actually cares about it being someplace. But like the random shows like Malloy, Maya Bialik's show that lasted 5 episodes before Blossom was on the air, all of that is on YouTube, or at least the pilot. I mean, you can find the weirdest crap on YouTube, TV wise, but if someone cares, they've locked it down. If someone cares even a little bit, either people care a lot and it's actually on a streaming service, because you care a lot. They do care, but they care so much that they want us to see it. Right. Yeah. They want us to see their work. Exactly. They're cool. They're like a cool parent corporation. They're like, hey, this one's for you. Yeah. I'm not a parent corporation. I'm like a cool parent corporation. We like for you to do it at home. Well, so we know where you are. Watch one more episode of Friends. Watch a little bit of Office, just in the basement with your friends.
We have one last segment, which is what you're watching.
That's right.
Anything good, Sequoia?
Well, I mostly am with my kids all day, and I am unschooling, homeschooling them, which mostly is like letting them play with Legos and taking them for hikes on the woods. And when they aren't letting me do my freelance work, I'm like, hey, how about the TV? And so I mostly get to watch kid stuff. And right now we just started Owl House, which is on Disney Plus. And I started it because I have this joke, which is I only let my kids watch cartoons that I can verify there are lesbians in the writer's room.
Yes.
And I can verify that about Owl House. And it's really awesome. It's
I would like to see that spreadsheet you've made.
There's a lot of it. There's a lot of really good recent cartoons that have had really cool writers involved. Anyway, so Owl House is like the chosen one. Like the girl who's like always reading the books and she doesn't have any friends and she's going to go to summer camp and she finds this portal to this magical world. But the magical world is both more boring and dangerous, and it's constantly subverting all her expectations about everything. It's really great for a cartoon series made for 7-year-olds.
That actually sounds good.
Yeah,
it's my kids really like Gravity Falls, which is
it's
kind of weird like that.
Yeah, it's some of the people from Gravity Falls. So yeah.
It's hard to find good stuff on Disney because they just highlight like the really obvious things.
Yeah, they put the really crap stuff. Try Wander Over Yonder as well.
Okay.
It's slapsticky Warner Brothers, but it's Disney. But it's also about time and space travel and what is good and what is bad. And like it gets. I love kids' cartoons that get like very morally messy because I think that's a really cool thing to teach kids.
Yeah.
There aren't good guys and there aren't bad guys, and
sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. So
yeah. So
what you watching, Rachel?
I'm not really watching anything because I was watching Blossom and then watching Roar. Mm-hmm. There's something new on HBO Max that I'm actually gonna maybe check out soon. That's called Made for Love.
Oh, what is that?
It's very Black Mirror-ish. It's got Christina Milioti, and she's married to a tech billionaire, and he puts some tracker in her head, and then she runs away from him, and then they're trying to find her because she's got this surveillance tech in her head or something. But and her dad is played by everybody loves Raymond
Romano.
Ray Romano. Ray Romano plays her dad. I don't work for HBO Max. I know that, I might as well.
You are shilling for them a lot. You're always like, guess what else great is on HBO Max? Like,
I canceled Netflix.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean,
our last chat with Naomi pushed me over the edge. I was like, I haven't watched anything on there in a long time. I am going to cancel it.
We canceled Netflix a long time ago, and then we just got Aaron's brother's password to watch it occasionally.
Yeah.
So like there'll be like one thing in like 6 months that I might want to check out, and then that's when we watch it. But I do not regret letting that service go. So you want to hear the weird thing that I've been watching?
Yeah.
Not really. It's not really a what you watching. It's just my chance to tell you about this weird oddity VHS that I unearthed from my parents' stuff. Like my brother brought up all this stuff from my mom's house. Like all of my old stuff, all of my like stuff from that I left at my parents' house when I moved away. So basically all of the stuff I didn't really care about. But one of the things that was in it was this VHS, and the box says kid print on it. And it is something that my mom, I think, paid for. It was a service provided by Blockbuster where they had a person who would like film your child. They'd stand you in front of this height chart.
Or someone kidnapped you?
Yes. And so it was so that your parents would have video evidence of you just in case you got kidnapped. And my mom,
I'm gonna bring that service back.
Kid print. And And I remember this, us actually doing it. Like, I remember us going to, I don't know if we were at Blockbuster anyway. And she was like, hey, what do you guys have set up here? Oh, let me take advantage of this. Or if she had heard about it, was like, let me go back. Let me gather up all my kids so I can put them in this like basically police lineup. Like, it's so dark. What a dark idea.
And I have so many questions. Did you just stand there? Did you like say your name and do a little dance so they could see like your kid weirdness?
It's so shittily done, by the way. Like, if you can imagine this like on-site production at a local Blockbuster in Columbus, Ohio, it's so shitty. They've got like it's a cardboard stand-up that like with your height marks on it, standing in front of a giant glass window. So the light is streaming in so strongly that everyone's backlit so badly that you basically can't see anyone's features. You're just completely dark. And then they just asked a couple questions, oh, what's your favorite movie? What's your, what grade are you in? What's your teacher's name? And I'm listed. This was so disappointing to me. I was like, put this in. I was like, oh, I got like, what did I say? What were my answers? It's just my three brothers. I'm not on it.
Oh.
And I was so disappointed. I'm like, and I'm listed on the box. It's like handwritten.
Do you think that you put up a fuss or something and you wouldn't do it?
Or I got shy or something? I don't know. But I was so disappointed. I was like, oh, maybe like there was a lag, or like maybe I'm further down. And so I'm like fast forwarding through this tape, and like it turns out that this kid print stuff was just taped over. You remember they had those videos that were like the fall preview 1994. Yeah. It's just taped. This video was just taped on top of one of those. So I'm like fast forwarding past my brothers and then trying to find me, and then it just goes into the previews for like CBS 1994. It's the craziest thing.
Blockbuster was looking for alternative revenue streams,
I guess. I don't know. I want to know, did my mom pay for this service? Was it just, or was this just something they provided like for free? It was so weird. I was so sad though, because like we didn't have a video camera when I was growing up. So there's not much video evidence of me. There's like one VHS of like a trip to California when I was 11, when we went to like my uncle's place in California. And so like that's the one video where you can see me as a little kid. I was like, all right, kid print. What did I say my favorite movie was? Oh, and I'm not.
And now you're worried we don't have any footage for the documentary about you eventually.
Exactly. I can't make a Kid 90. I can't make a documentary about my youth at all.
I saw they have software now where this AI can take a still photo and animate it. So we could just animate you.
Okay. All right.
Into hologram.
It's just so much harder to do this, but it's very time consuming, but I mean, I guess it's worth it.
Have you asked your brothers yet if they remember anything about it?
Yeah, they all remember it vividly.
But not why you weren't on it?
They don't remember that. My one brother, by the way, Eric, is wearing like a Home Alone t-shirt. And he says his favorite movie is Star Wars. And like, they're like, which one? He was like, all of them. But all three of my brothers, by the way, are just, they're so solemn in their answers. They're just like, like my brother Eric seems angry. He's like, yeah, I'm fifth grade. What? Geez, he's just asking you what your favorite movie is. But also, I guess this is I guess you're right to be skeptical about this person filming you.
And also asking you these personal questions like, I'm sorry, Blockbuster, why are you asking these children to give you this? What's your teacher's name?
What's your favorite teacher's name? Oh. Yeah. Oh, I think actually,
take your shirt off.
I actually think it like they made them say their address and phone number.
Well, it's not like Blockbuster had any way to have a double copy. I mean, that's way too technologically advanced.
They couldn't even.
Copy goes to the parents.
They didn't even have clean tapes that they were using. They were using Like
I'm really curious if this just happened at the one Blockbuster in Ohio.
I don't know. Or just like some creep.
What did you say it was called?
Kid Print.
Kid Print.
And I feel like I remember a similar service that was featured at the Ohio State Fair at least one season of my youth.
Oh my God. Okay, I just Googled it and the first thing that came up, there's an ad.
Is it still like a viable business? Is it still something?
No, but it's a commercial for Kid Print.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. I'm gonna have to look at these videos, obviously. So that's what I'll be what I'll be watching for next week.
All right. Well, this has been Sliders and Wings with Val, Rachel, and special guest Sequoia.
Yeah, thank you, Sequoia. You can email us at slidersandwings@gmail.com.
Yeah, still waiting for that fan email.
That's right. Still waiting. Sequoia, that's where you can send your fanfics.
Yep, I will absolutely will. Look for
email us slidersandwings@gmail.com.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. All right.
All right. Bye.